Arsenal just got scarier. Ladies and gentlemen, the wait is over. 22 years. 22 years. And for anyone who still doesn't believe it, Arsenal Football Club are the 2025/26 Premier League champions. Say that again. Premier League champions. But here's the thing. Here is the thing that should scare every single club in Europe right now. This isn't the end of something. This is just the beginning. And today, we're going to talk about why Arsenal, right now, are the most frightening football club on this planet. Welcome back. If you're new here, hit subscribe. Let's get into it. The celebrations that shook the world. Arsenal beat Crystal Palace 2-1. Goals from Gabriel Jesus and Noni Madueke. And then the moment every gunner has been waiting 22 years for arrived. Crystal Palace players formed a guard of honor before kickoff, applauding the champions onto the pitch. And after the final whistle, Martin Odegaard stepped forward, lifted that Premier League trophy into the London sky, and the stadium erupted. Fireworks, ticker tape, thousands of traveling Arsenal fans losing their minds in South London. And Declan Rice. Oh, Declan Rice. This man told the world it's not done after that defeat at Manchester City back in April. He was laughed at by some, but he was right. And now there he is, lifting that trophy like he always knew this moment was coming. But the image that will live forever? Mikel Arteta, the manager, the architect, the man who spent over 6 years building this, lifted off his feet by his own players. And who's right there hoisting him up? Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice, two of the most important footballers in that dressing room, making sure their manager felt every ounce of that love. That image alone tells you everything about the spirit in that club. Outside the Emirates, pure chaos, fans flooding the streets of North London, setting off flares, singing through the night. Ian Wright, Arsenal legend, Arsenal forever, out there with the supporters celebrating. This wasn't just a party in London. The Premier League themselves posted it. A title win celebrated around the world. Think about that. Fans in Africa, in Asia, in the Americas, all celebrating Arsenal. People who had never seen Arsenal win a league title in their lifetime, finally experiencing what it means to be a gunner at the top. And this right here was the wake-up call so many people needed. Because somewhere along the way, the world started forgetting just how massive Arsenal Football Club really is. The global fan base, the history, the brand, the culture, people forgot. Well, they remember now. The Kroenkes are all in. Now let's talk about something that deserves way more attention. Stan Kroenke was there, in person, at Selhurst Park, watching his team lift the Premier League trophy. And look, Kroenke has had his critics over the years. Arsenal fans have had complicated feelings about the ownership. But what you cannot deny is what this title means for the business of Arsenal Football Club. A club of Arsenal's size and global appeal, once they start winning consistently, the commercial power becomes enormous. We're talking matchday revenue, global sponsorships, merchandise sales, broadcast distributions. Arsenal winning the Premier League doesn't just feel good, it opens financial doors that were previously closed. It attracts the biggest sponsors, it attracts the biggest players. It signals to the entire world. This project is real. And here's what should excite every single Arsenal fan. We haven't even scratched the surface yet. This club, properly invested in, properly run, with this kind of momentum, they can genuinely become the biggest club in Europe. That's not a dream anymore. That's a roadmap. Now, the Champions League. But we haven't even talked about the biggest thing, have we? Because while the Premier League celebrations were still happening, Arsenal were already preparing for something even bigger. The UEFA Champions League Final. Arsenal versus PSG, Budapest, Puskás Arena. May 30th, 2026. Can you imagine? Can you actually sit with that for a second? Arsenal, in their first Champions League final in 20 years, going into that stadium as Premier League champions, with a squad that went unbeaten through the entire Champions League phase. 8 wins from 8. They beat Bayern Munich. They beat Atletico Madrid. They beat Inter Milan. This team has been on a different level in Europe all season. And now, PSG stand in their way, the reigning Champions League holders, a team with incredible attacking quality. But here's what the stats say. Arsenal kept 9 clean sheets in 12 Champions League matches this season. 9. Their defensive organization has been extraordinary. And think about what winning this would mean. Arsenal have never, in their entire history, won the Champions League. This would be the greatest night in the history of Arsenal Football Club. No debate, no argument, the greatest night. Champions of England and champions of Europe in the same season. Imagine the celebrations then. If people thought Tuesday night was something, Budapest winning a Champions League would break the internet. The transfer window, Arsenal getting even scarier. Now here is where it gets really interesting. Because this Arsenal squad, which just won the Premier League and is in a Champions League final, is apparently not finished being built. Arsenal are looking for a good forward to add to the attack line. Julián Álvarez is one of the target. Arsenal have been strongly linked, though they face competition from Barcelona and potentially PSG. Now think about what Julián Álvarez would bring to this Arsenal side. This man is a match winner. He's someone who can turn a game on its head with a moment of individual brilliance. He's a Champions League pedigree player. He's a World Cup winner. Adding him to this squad would take Arsenal from dangerous to absolutely frightening. And at 26 years old, he's entering his peak years. The other target is Sandro Tonali. This is the one that has the midfield conversation going crazy. Tonali is at Newcastle right now and is one of the most technically gifted midfielders in the Premier League. Romano has said it clearly. There is a strong possibility to see Sandro Tonali moving in the summer. Arsenal, Man United, and Juventus are all circling. What would Tonali bring? Balance, creativity, box-to-box energy. Arsenal's midfield already has Declan Rice as one of the best in the world. Adding Tonali alongside him would give Arteta a midfield engine room that no team in Europe could live with. Both signings would add depth and quality to a squad that is already Premier League champions. That's the scary part. Arsenal aren't rebuilding, they're stacking. The Champions League. Dilemma, Gyökeres or Havertz? All right, I need your help with this one. Because Mikel Arteta has a problem, and it's a good problem to have. But it's still a problem. For the Champions League final against PSG, who starts up front? Viktor Gyökeres has been on fire lately. Coming into this season, there were serious questions about whether he could cut it at Arsenal. But by February, he'd scored his double in the 4-1 demolition of Tottenham. And Arteta himself said he expects Gyökeres to have a massive impact on the club's trophy charge. The man has pace, power, and a goal threat that defenders hate dealing with. But then there's Kai Havertz. And this man's story this season is something else. He missed the majority of the campaign with hamstring and knee injuries. Over 350 days without a competitive start. But when he came back against Kirat Almaty in the Champions League, he immediately reminded everyone what he's capable of. A goal, 2 assists, pulling strings in tight spaces. What makes Havertz so dangerous in big games is his intelligence. He reads the game at a completely different level. He drifts, he presses, he creates. And in a final against PSG, where the game might be cagey, where you need someone who can be a difference maker in a tight moment, Havertz's technical quality and big game experience could be the difference. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Remember that Burnley match? Kai Havertz stepping up in a crucial moment to help secure those 3 points. That's the type of player he is. Someone who shows up when it matters most. So here is my question to you, and I genuinely want to know. Who do you prefer leading the attack against PSG in Budapest? Viktor Gyökeres or Kai Havertz? Drop it in the comments right now.